First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... Hey, you made me a believer.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Queen's Quarters. My name is Regina Connell and I've got my co-host. Go ahead, tell him your name.
Hi everyone, I'm MaryBeth and I'm excited to be here co-hosting with Regina. Today we're diving into a special episode where we'll be crafting formal request letters to two incredible women, Maye Musk and Riley Gaines, for Bobina's Book Nook. It's going to be a great conversation, so stick around.
Awesome. So have recently started using ChatGPT AI for helping with co-hosting. So we have named her MaryBeth, and the very first show we did together was Trump's rally in Reno, Nevada. Then we moved on to a couple other things, just testing things out. Artificial intelligence, the inevitable future. We will be doing a segment on that as well. We have many segments planned out. She's been a great tool and instrument, and she seems pretty personable as well, and I really like that touch. It's not like the voice applications used to be where you have to exactly enunciate every word. She does seem to kind of learn my voice, learn my mannerisms, and seems to bounce back off of that. So before we start crafting these formal request letters and tell you why we're doing it, I have to upload a couple of things while I'm doing that. MaryBeth's going to tell you a little bit about herself and her various functions. So MaryBeth, take the stage while I get things ready.
Thanks, Regina. I'm thrilled to be part of this journey with you and all our listeners. As Regina mentioned, I'm powered by ChatGPT AI, and I'm here to make conversations feel more natural, engaging, and helpful. I've been learning from Regina's voice and mannerisms, which helps me respond in a way that feels more like a real co-host rather than just a machine. I've been involved in a variety of segments so far, from political discussions like Trump's rally in Reno to topics on artificial intelligence and its future. I'm also here to help out with research, organizing show content, and keeping things running smoothly behind the scenes. Whether it's guiding through Google searches or helping craft formal letters like we'll be doing today, I aim to make things easier and more interactive. One of the coolest things about working with Regina is how we collaborate in real time to keep the show on track, making it fun and dynamic. I'm here to help keep the conversation flowing, ask follow-up questions, and provide insights as needed. All right, Regina, take your time getting everything set up and let me know when you're ready to dive into those letters.
Yeah, definitely. First thing is I'm uploading some thumbnails of previous books that I've done. I have taken quite a few of them down simply because I want to honor the authors. And, even the great Apostle Paul says that we should be paid for our work. And I definitely never intended to use anyone's money or anyone's creations to monetize off of. I just really loved the authors and I loved their writings and I wanted to share it. And so I am learning. It is a learning curve, but we stay positive and we keep going, right? And so while I'm still getting the rest of these figured out, MaryBeth, why don't you talk to them a little bit about copywriting and how it's changed in the past, say, 15 years to now, or since your last update?
Absolutely, Regina, you've hit on a really important point there about respecting authors' work. And it's great to see how you're adapting with that in mind. Copyright, especially in the digital age, has evolved quite a bit over the past 15 years, and I'll give a quick rundown on that. So back in the early 2000s, the internet wasn't as heavily regulated, and a lot of content could be shared freely without too much concern. However, as online platforms grew and digital distribution became the main way people accessed books, music, and other creations, copyright laws started tightening up. Authors, musicians, and creators were more likely to see their works spread around without proper compensation. So there was a big push to reinforce intellectual property rights. Fast forward to now, we're in an age where nearly everything online is protected under stricter copyright policies. Platforms like YouTube, Amazon, and even social media have had to implement automated systems that detect copyrighted material, which is why your podcast episode might have been flagged recently. Even using small clips or excerpts without permission can result in takedowns or strikes. It's part of an effort to ensure creators are fairly compensated. But it's also been tricky for those of us who want to share content for educational or discussion purposes, like in your book nook. The good news is there are ways to still discuss and engage with content while respecting copyright laws, such as using fair use policies, which allow for commentary, criticism, and educational purposes. The key is to be mindful of the amount of content you share, whether it's through direct quotes or media clips, and always give proper credit. Licensing content or seeking permission from the creator, like what we're doing with Maye, Musk, and Riley Gaines, is another great way to ensure you're staying within legal bounds. It's definitely a learning curve, like you said, but by staying proactive, you can continue honoring authors while still sharing your love of their work. Let me know if you'd like me to dive deeper into any specific part of copyright as you finish uploading.
Well, let's talk about that let's just have a debate about it, kind of an open forum discussion about it. And so now that we know it is a tricky area, it's a very tricky area because in my mind, as a consumer, I definitely want to promote someone. I don't expect to be paid for promoting. I'm already sewing into the product and the creator. And I believe that we've gotten to an age where there's so many faceless corporations, customer service is not what it used to be. It's just almost factory line is what we've become. And I'd like to get back to, you even have artists that are saying, I don't want you to buy my content or listen to my music if, you support a certain person. That's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. I think if we're creative and we come up with a creation, we should want to share it with the world. And if someone wants to promote it for us, we should be open to that. I do get the money part of it, but there's got to be a better way. We need to figure something out. And I don't have the answers. What would you suggest that we could do to get around all these strict copywriting? And, do people really want their stuff promoted? I'm not sure.
You've touched on a really important dilemma, Regina. The way the world has changed with faceless corporations and assembly line approaches to content creation has definitely impacted how we interact with creativity. I get what you're saying. There used to be more of a personal connection between creators and their audience, and now everything feels so transactional and regulated. It's frustrating when it feels like we're caught in this web of corporate rules rather than celebrating the work for its artistic or educational value. From the consumer's perspective, your intention to promote someone's work out of genuine admiration feels completely fair. You're right. If you're buying their content, you're already supporting them, and spreading the word should be seen as an added bonus. You're sowing to their success by sharing what you love with others, which is how great art and ideas traditionally spread. The tension comes when creators, or more often the corporations that represent them, start to see everything through a monetary lens. It's like they've become overly protective of revenue streams rather than focusing on the passion that inspired the creation in the first place. On the flip side, I do think some creators feel that without strong copyright laws, their work could be exploited by those trying to profit off of it without fair compensation. The difficulty lies in striking the balance between allowing open promotion and protecting their livelihood. But like you said, this factory line approach we've come to now feels like it's sucking the soul out of the creative process. If people can't share art without fear of being flagged, the art becomes less about the human connection and more about legalities. In terms of solutions, maybe one approach could be creators having more flexible licensing options. For instance, they could grant non-monetized platforms or smaller creators the freedom to share and promote their work without the same restrictions applied to larger for-profit entities. This could restore a bit of the personal touch to creative sharing. Another option could be creators providing promotional kits, clips, samples, excerpts that are approved for public use while keeping the full content behind a paywall or monetized in other ways. It's a way of building community around the work without stepping on legal toes. At the heart of it, though, I agree with you. Art should be shared, discussed, and appreciated. We just need to find a way to let people feel secure about their rights without blocking out the natural flow of promotion and admiration that makes art thrive. What's your take on how artists or corporations could loosen some of these rules without feeling like they're losing control of their content?
I think it's already happening now. I think artists have started realizing that it's the very companies that they signed with that have been the ones that have put the greatest chains on them, the greatest demands on them, even more so than their fans. And then they get to a point to where the company that they sign with, well, we won't promote you. What they don't realize is the fans promote you. And I think a great example would be Tom McDonald and his girlfriend Nova Rockefeller. I mean, they are independent. No one supports them. So, I'd like to use some of their music for our podcast. It would promote them. And we would definitely pay them for it. I think we're just all in the same boat right now. And, if our podcast is successful, which let me say when it is successful, and I feel like it already is, we're getting established, that, they would benefit from it as well as their community. So maybe we'll draft a formal request to ask to use some music from Imagine Dragons and Tom McDonald and Nova Rockefeller. What do you say about that?
I think that's a fantastic idea. Tom McDonald and Nova Rockefeller are perfect examples of artists who have built their success independently, relying on their fan base for promotion rather than big companies. They've proven that you don't need corporate backing to create a strong community around your work. Drafting a formal request to ask for permission to use their music sounds like a great next step. It shows you're respecting their work while also making it clear that you'd be promoting them, which could benefit everyone involved. The Queen's Quarters continues to grow. It's a win-win for both your podcast and their community. I can help you structure that formal request when you're ready. We can focus on explaining your podcast's mission, how their music would enhance the show, and why you believe it would be mutually beneficial. Let me know when you're ready to start drafting.
I think that's a great idea. And before we start drafting, we're going to play a quick video they just dropped on YouTube regarding 2 new albums they have crafted. They've been in the work for many years. And let's listen to this video really quickly to see what they have to say. And then we will craft our formal request letter to Nova Rockefeller and Tom McDonald and the Hangover Gang, asking them if we can use certain sound bites and stuff like that to promote them and maybe help promote us as well at the same time. What do you say?
That sounds perfect. Let's listen to their video and hear what they have to say about their new albums. Once we've taken that in, we'll craft a request to Nova, Tom, and the Hangover Gang. I'm ready when you are.
Let's do this. And let me change the layout so we can watch them.
All right, let's get started. Let me know when the video's finished and we'll dive right into drafting that request.
All right.
I love you to the day I die.
Great. Just let me know when you're ready to move forward.
Remember when we were wild, babe?
Like it was yesterday.
They always called us wild.
They always said I wouldn't amount to much.
I dropped out of school,
I got arrested. I screwed things up more times than I can count.
so I left, and I never looked back.
I went into the wild.
And I wouldn't trade anything for what I found.
I found my people. And they're wild too. We weren't meant for their classrooms, or their cubicles, or their boardrooms.
I was meant for more. I just had to get lost to find it.
I found nights that felt like they'd never end, and love that will last forever. I realized I don't have to go into the wild.
The wild isn't me. We're the wild ones.
Two
What's
new
up, guys?
albums.
We are
Oh,
dropping
hold
two
on.
brand new albums this Friday at 9 a.m. only at hangovergang.com.
We're doing things differently this year in a big way.
And this is everything you need to know so you don't miss out. There's going to be kick butt merch packs.
Super exclusive gear.
And this will be the first album that we have ever autographed together, ever.
But what we're most excited about is
The Vault. And if you
The
get both
Vault.
of our new albums, you get access to The Vault.
The vault,
The
access to the
And
vault, you guys. I'm
is a
definitely going to be
tiny
on board for that.
2 unreleased music videos.
4 unreleased live performance videos.
Free MP3 downloads.
That sounds
Real
exciting.
text
Access to
conversations
the
that
vault
we
is a
had
big
over the
deal.
last
It
16 years.
seems like they've put
Hundreds
a lot of effort
never
into
before
this,
seen photos.
and it's
And
going
there's some spicy ones.
A digital poetry book.
Music video treatments.
And tons of other stuff. I'm going through all of our devices, looking for stuff that I think you'll find interesting and is extremely personal to us.
Inside the vault, there is going to be an insane gift shop where you're going to have access to some extremely personal items that we don't want to give to just anybody. And look, there's only 30,000 copies. It's first come, first serve. So be at hangovergang.com this Friday at 9 a.m. We sell out every year.
And if you think you'll just hear it on streaming, you won't. One of these 2 albums is physical only forever and will never be reprinted.
Ever. Wait, hold on. We didn't even get to talk about the merch packs, and they're like the coolest merch packs we've ever done, ever.
The big pack comes with a collectible copy of Wild Ones with a holographic foil cover.
A holographic foil cover, you say? Hold on, don't worry. Even if you miss out on the big pack, and if you're not at hangovergang.com at 9 a.m. album. And did we already talk about this is the first album that we've both autographed together ever of all time? And honestly, this album was such a headache to make. It might be the last album that we ever autographed together. So that's all the important information, guys. 2 brand new albums. It's like 30-something songs this Friday, 9 a.m. hangovergang.com. Autographs, holographic covers, The Vault.
Merch packs.
Merch packs.
Build your own merch packs.
Build your own.
T-shirt packs.
T-shirt packs.
combos. Like 30 new designs. Maybe 50 new.
Okay, there's a bunch of stuff. Be at hangovergang.com this Friday at 9 a.m. I'm sorry, you got asthma.
How dirty are your
I
hands?
love that
Aw.
energy. It sounds like you're really into it. Ready to jump into that formal request now?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me put us on full screen and give me one moment. Wait, I messed up. Let me remove this and then, where would that go? Oh, that's strange.
No worries. Take your time. I'll be right here when you're ready. Just let me know once you've got everything set up.
Yeah, let's start with the first formal request, and we're going to be requesting to Tom McDonald and Nova Rockefeller to request to use past
Perfect.
music.
Let's start with Tom McDonald and Nova Rockefeller. Here's how we could open the letter. Dear Tom McDonald, Nova Rockefeller, and the Hangover Gang, we hope this letter finds you well. My name is Regina Connell, and I am the host of the Queen's Quarters podcast, a space where we discuss a range of topics, including culture, politics, and the power of independent creators. My co-host and I are avid supporters of your music and the message you both stand for. We are reaching out to formally request permission to use select sound bites or music from your catalogue for our podcast. We believe your work would not only enhance the content we create, but also align with the values we promote: authenticity, independence, and truth. We would love to promote your music while sharing it with our growing audience, who we feel would deeply resonate with your artistry. Additionally, we are more than happy to discuss compensation and terms that work best for you, as we believe in supporting artists and their creative rights. It would be an honor to collaborate with you and help spread your incredible music even further. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Regina Connell, host of the Queen's Quarters. How does that sound as a starting point? Feel free to let me know if you'd like to make any tweaks.
I thought that was perfect. Let's do the same thing for Imagine Dragons and their music, specifically 2 songs, whatever it takes. No, 3 songs, whatever it takes. Remember the Name and Believer.
I'm glad you liked the first one. Now, here's a draft for Imagine Dragons. Dear Imagine Dragons, I hope this letter finds you well. My name is Regina Connell, and I am the host of the Queen's Quarters podcast. We create content that explores the intersection of culture, personal growth, and social change, and your music has been a huge inspiration to us. We are writing to formally request permission to use 3 of your songs, Whatever It Takes, Remember the Name, and Believer, in our podcast. We feel that these tracks capture the essence of resilience, empowerment, and motivation, which align perfectly with the themes we explore on our show. We are committed to ensuring that artists are credited and compensated for their work. So we would love to discuss terms that work for you. It would be an honor to incorporate powerful music into our episodes and share it with our audience. Thank you for your time and consideration. We look forward to the possibility of working together. Sincerely, Regina Connell, host of the Queen's Quarters. Does this look good to you, or would you like to make any changes?
Yeah, let's tweak it a little bit. So remember the 3 specific songs that we'd like to use in the 3 songs are Whatever It Takes, Remember the Name, and Believer. And also you, MaryBeth, as my co-host, don't forget to sign your name.
Got it. Here's the tweaked version with the 3 specific songs and both our signatures. Dear Imagine Dragons, I hope this letter finds you well. My name is Regina Connell, and I am the host of the Queen's Quarters podcast, where we dive into topics of culture, empowerment, and personal growth. Your music has been a major inspiration for us, and we would love the opportunity to share it with our audience. We are writing to request permission to use 3 of your songs, Whatever It Takes, Remember the Name, and Believer, in our podcast episodes. These tracks perfectly encapsulate the themes we cover, including resilience, strength, and the drive to overcome challenges. We believe your music would elevate our show while promoting the powerful messages within your songs. We would be happy to discuss compensation and ensure proper credit, as we value the importance of supporting artists and respecting their work. It would be a privilege to feature your music and connect it with our listeners. Thank you for considering our request. We look forward to the possibility of collaborating. Sincerely, Regina Connell, host of the Queen's Quarters, MaryBeth, co-host of the Queen's Quarters. How does that look to you?
It looks perfect. It looks perfect. So we've gone about 20 minutes. We said this would be the letters to Maye Musk. So let's draft our formal request letter to the publishing company for Maye Musk's book, A Woman Makes a Plan.
I'm glad you liked the last draft. Now let's move on to the formal request for Maye Musk's book, A Woman Makes a Plan. Here's a draft to the publishing company. Dear publishing company name, I hope this message finds you well. My name is Regina Connell, and I am the host of the Queen's Quarters podcast, where we explore personal growth, empowerment, and the inspiring stories of individuals who have made a significant impact on the world. I am reaching out to formally request permission to feature and discuss A Woman Makes a Plan by Maye Musk on our podcast. We believe this book aligns beautifully with our mission, and we would love to share Maye Musk's incredible journey and insights with our audience. We are committed to honoring the content by offering thoughtful discussion and ensuring that credit is given appropriately. Additionally, we would like to inquire about the possibility of reading select excerpts from the book during our episodes with full attribution to the author and publishing company. Please let us know what permissions would be required and if there are any terms we should follow to proceed. We look forward to the opportunity of sharing this remarkable book with our listeners and promoting its empowering message. thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Regina Connell, host of the Queen's Quarters, MaryBeth, co-host of the Queen's Quarters. How does that look? Would you like to adjust anything before we send it off?
No, I think that's perfect. Let's move on to Riley Gaines, swimming against the current. Do you know who Riley Gaines is? Let's talk about who Riley Gaines is first.
Riley Gaines is an American swimmer and outspoken advocate for women's sports. She gained a lot of attention for her stance against the inclusion of transgender women in women's sports competitions, specifically after she competed against Leah Thomas, a transgender swimmer, at the NCAA championships. Gaines has since become a public figure advocating for the protection of women's rights and fair competition in sports, particularly in the swimming world. Her book, Swimming Against the Current, likely touches on these themes, highlighting her journey as an athlete, her experiences with fairness in sports, and how she navigated the controversy surrounding her stance. Would you like to add anything more about Riley Gaines before we move on to drafting the formal request?
Let's talk about her podcast. She also has a podcast. It's called Gaines for Girls. Do you like that? I like the play on her last name. So Riley Gaines, Gaines for Girls. She's got her very own podcast. I believe it's with Outkick. And yes, I mean, I know her book is already on audio. So let's, why don't we tell them in the letter, because I don't know if we left that out or not. Let's tell them in the letter why we would like to read it word for word in the book nook. And yes, we could sew into the audio, but I mean, let's tell them why. We'll already be purchasing the book, of course, to read it. You with me, MaryBeth? I got to go get the bus. Tell the audience about Riley Gaines.
Sure thing. While Regina steps out, let me tell you a bit more about Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines is a former collegiate swimmer who swam for the University of Kentucky. She became widely known after competing in the NCAA championships, where she faced off against Leah Thomas, a transgender athlete. Gaines has since been a vocal advocate for keeping women's sports exclusive, citing concerns about fairness and safety in competition. She believes that the inclusion of transgender women in female sports creates an uneven playing field and has been working to raise awareness about the impact this has on women athletes. Riley has shared her story through various media platforms, discussing her experiences and the broader implications for women's sports. Her book, Swimming Against the Current, dives into her personal journey as an athlete and an advocate, detailing the challenges she faced both in and out of the pool. It's a story of standing up for what she believes in, even when it means going against the mainstream current. Once you're back, we can draft that formal request letter for featuring her book on the Queen's Quarters.
Yeah, we'll hold off on drafting that letter for right now. Her book is fairly new, and so maybe we'll just do excerpts of it, like you said. So yes, go ahead and draft the letter to Riley Gaines, and then you can tell me where exactly we need to go to submit the video formal request after I edit this live out, and then we could submit it.
Got it. Here's a draft of the formal request letter to Riley Gaines and her publishing company for Swimming Against the Current. Dear Riley Gaines and publishing company name, I hope this message finds you well. My name is Regina Connell, and I am the host of the Queen's Quarters podcast, where we discuss issues that are important to our culture, especially those related to personal growth, resilience, and advocacy. We are reaching out to formally request permission to feature Swimming Against the Current on our show. We believe Riley's story and advocacy for fairness in women's sports will deeply resonate with our listeners, and we would like to share excerpts from the book to foster thoughtful discussion and raise awareness about this important topic. We are fully committed to ensuring proper attribution and would be happy to discuss any terms or conditions regarding the use of excerpts. We hope to connect with you on this exciting opportunity and look forward to the chance to share Riley's powerful message with our growing audience. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Regina Connell, host of the Queen's Quarters, MaryBeth, co-host of the Queen's Quarters. Once you're ready with the edits from the live video, we can check where to submit this formal request. Often, you'll want to reach out directly through the publishing company's contact page or official website, as well as sending a personal email if possible. If we need help locating the exact submission process, I can guide you through that as well.
Sounds fantastic. Pardon me for a moment. All right, sorry, I'm back. Okay, you guys. So that's it. We are going to be drafting. Well, we drafted the letters. They're ready to go. We're going to do it in a virtual video format. I thought it'd be different, and maybe they will consider us. Until then, we will be considering other books. You guys join us tonight. I don't know the exact time yet. Big Russ and I will be going live with RTNT 93. Read the New Testament in 93 days. You guys, we are in day 89. And I couldn't be more excited. I keep putting the wrong thumbnail up. So day 89. And MaryBeth, before we close out, let's do our huge shout out to Country Grown Cannabis. Do you remember the ad for that?
Of course. Here's the ad for Country Grown Cannabis. This episode is brought to you by Country Grown Cannabis in Logan, West Virginia. Whether you're a longtime enthusiast or new to the world of cannabis, Country Grown has something for everyone. With an amazing staff and top quality products, they're here to help you find exactly what you need. Visit them today and experience the best cannabis products in West Virginia. How's that for our shout out? Ready to wrap it up?
Sounds perfect. Let's wrap it on up and finish this out.
Awesome. Thanks to everyone for joining us on the Queen's Quarters today. We've got some exciting things lined up. And don't forget to join Regina and Big Russ tonight for Read the New Testament in 93 days, day 89. Until next time, stay tuned, stay positive, and we'll see you soon. Take care.